can feel the power, George.
We must be close now.
Through there, you think?
Yep. Nico, I want you to know, if anything happens to me...
Yes?
You can have my Tintin collection.
Thanks, George. I'm so touched.
I can't see any way of opening this. It just wouldn't budge. So, got any ideas what to do next?
We need to get through that door over there, George.
No. You're kidding me.
There must be something around here to help us get inside.
The panel has a slight recess. See the lightning symbol? You know the metal plate I got off Mr. Spiky back there? It had the same symbol. Touching it doesn't work. Sure feels good, though. I'd found the metal plate on the corpse. It had a lightning symbol embossed on it. I think it worked. Damn! The plate seems to fit, but then it just pops out. The plate was still warm. I think it worked. Well, I can't hold the plate and get through the door at the same time. Nico?
Yes, George?
Hey, Nico, take this scarf. You can use it to hold the metal plate over that panel.
And what will you do?
I'll go through the door and check it out.
There you go, George. Hurry!
It was amazing. Just like the power site back in Paris. There was a column of energy, and there, again, a stone held in its beam. I wondered if this was also a key like the Omega Stone.
What happened?
It was like Paris, but without the bloodshed.
Yeah?
I got another stone. Guess what? It's got a symbol. An alpha.
Stop right there, Stobart. And you.
Well, Nico, if it isn't your co-star from that little show in Paris.
Still giving us some performance, I see.
Maybe she's stalking you.
Shut up, both of you. And give me the key.
The key? Oh, I'm terrible with keys. You'll have to remind me. Which key was that again?
Don't play games, Stobart. I know you've got it. You stole it from the safe.
Oh, the Key of Solomon.
Why didn't you say?
Give it to me.
We'd love to.
But...
We don't actually have the key here with us. We left it back home.
So, you haven't got it?
No.
That is a shame. A big shame.
Yep. Real sorry you've had to come all this way for nothing.
Oh, it's not a wasted journey.
Oh, good.
I was going to kill you anyway. Let's get out of here!
That was close.
You can say that again. Come on, George. We have to move fast.
Harry! Let's go!
Where to?
Grand Central. Where the hell do you think?
Just get us out of here!
Anyway, now you're back, George. I'd appreciate a little business advice. I'm thinking of making a career change again. Get out of the taxi like and into something a little more, well, with a...
And the look on your face when the spike shot out!
See what happens when you leave Andre on his own for 5 minutes?
Nico, I'm sorry,
Andre, what happened?
Some guys, they turned the place over.
But why?
They wanted the key of Solomon. We said we didn't have it.
Oh, you poor thing.
Oh, it's just a couple of scratches, Andre. He'll get over it. But where's Bruno?
They took him.
And you let them?
Now listen here, George. I passed out.
Chickened out more like.
What's he doing here?
When I came round, he was just here. He's been on the phone ever since.
Who is he anyway?
He's a pig, that's who he is. A cretin. An idiot. A smooth-faced, wooden-headed...
Ah, the cop who locked you up. I have to hand it to him. He must have guts.
And just what does that mean?
So, tell us about the fellas who beat you up, Andre.
One of them was a real gorilla. Flap, I think they called him.
Flap?
Susarro's men. You've got a nerve.
That is one of the requirements of the job, mademoiselle.
I should kick you out.
If you wish.
2 days you kept me in the cells.
So I'm told.
You mean you didn't know?
I was reassigned to another case.
So, why are you here now?
Mademoiselle Collard's file was stolen from my desk. I thought she might be in danger.
So, whoever did this has a contact in the police?
More than one. You remember the red sports car, mademoiselle? All information regarding it has suddenly become classified.
Susarro has powerful friends, then.
Susarro?
He's, a powerful man.
A recluse.
A cult leader. I wrote an article about him once. He seems to have it in for me.
He certainly has influential contacts. A man answering the description of your Monsieur Ostwald was slipped through customs at the airport just hours ago. Even though he was clearly drugged, officials were told to turn a blind eye.
Where were they headed?
They boarded a flight to Prague.
What on earth would Susarro be doing in Eastern Europe?
It is clear there is some kind of conspiracy. Not just in my department, but across the whole force. Perhaps the whole country. If mademoiselle will permit, I would like to offer my assistance. That is very kind of you, Inspector. No, it is not kindness, it is my duty.
Maybe you can check out your databases for Susarro. Location, history, stuff like that?
Very well. I shall get onto it right away. Why didn't you tell him what's really going on?
And create more suspicion for ourselves? I don't think so.
This way he thinks he's helping. What now?
What if it's those thugs?
I don't think they'd knock, Andre.
Beatrice!
Bonjour, mademoiselle. I hope you don't mind. I got your address. I need to talk.
Of course. Come in.
Who's this gorgeous creature, George?
Who dug her up, you mean?
What?
Oh, nothing. You've never met her?
Never had the pleasure.
Let me introduce you. This is George, and this is Andre.
Very pleased to meet you.
Hi.
George is American.
Wow! Roswell? Kennedy? The moon landings?
You got it. 3 of our greatest hits.
This is Beatrice. She's Vernon's, she was a friend of Vernon.
Have you any more news? Do you know who?
He was killed by a woman called Petra. She was working for some kind of secret group.
White supremacist, huh?
Worse, megalomaniacs.
They sound scary.
There's just one, really. A man called Susarro. He controls a group that used to be known as the Neo-Templars.
Vernon used to talk about the Templars. Who were they?
They were founded in the Holy Land over 800 years ago, set up to protect Christian pilgrims from the Muslim armies. They grew in wealth and numbers to the point where even kings came to them for loans. But at the height of their power, they fell foul of the King of France. He rounded them up and turned them over to the Inquisition. The last Grand Master was burned alive in 1314.
But you think they're still out there?
Different groups, yes.
And they killed my little Snooky.
They did?
We don't know it was the Templars who did this.
They might try and kill us all.
They attacked me. Look, you can see.
Oh, you poor man. But you fought them off. You are alive. You must be so brave.
Foolhardy, perhaps.
How about just plain fool?
You're right, Beatrice. We're no longer safe here.
I've moved into Vernon's old flat. You could stay with me.
Sounds like a good plan.
Hold on. We need to do something about Bruno.
How? All we know is that he was taken to Prague.
Then we should find out where in Prague he's been taken.
And just how do we do that?
Remember the office back in the theater?
The one with the trigger-happy goon?
There was obviously stuff in there worth defending.
You think there could be a clue?
Worth a try. I'll go. You shift our gear over to Beatrice's place.
I'll help.
And book us some tickets to Prague.
Why should I do that?
You're the one with the money, George. Before we go anywhere, Beatrice, there's a message on the DVD I think you should see. These were the main doors that led back onto the street outside. I was here to get clues. I wasn't going to leave until my job was done. It was a popcorn display case. I could have easily reached inside, if there had been anything in there worth taking. Terrific. Beverage machine of the year 1950. You had to mix it up yourself. Reminded me of drugstores when I was a kid. I wasn't going to try the machine. The nozzle looked like it had once been part of a biological weapons program. Double doors. Probably just a pantry. The door was locked and wouldn't open. It was an old cash register. I wondered if there was any cash still inside. The cash register was jammed and wasn't going to open. Looking for old francs wasn't going to help. The sound equipment was ancient. For some reason, it had been vandalized. The equipment had been trashed. It would never work again. The switches and levers were ancient and all broken. It reminded me of old Flash Gordon episodes. It would never work. It had been deliberately damaged. I couldn't leave yet. First, I needed a lead to Susarro's location in Prague. Someone had got this light working. The bulb was burning hot. There was no point burning my hand. The glare from the stage light hurt my eyes. I had no desire to burn myself on the light. The light gave off an amazing amount of heat. Standing so close, I could feel the heat from the light burning my skin. The remnants of George's heroic sandbag lay everywhere. It made me smile. George was not one of God's tidiest creatures. The cloth backdrop for the stage. It was a box of theatrical grease paints. I didn't need a stick of grease paint. Besides, my makeup was just fine, understated to perfection. It was the lever that opened and closed the stage trap door. There was no point messing with the trap door. The door led down to the lower levels. It wasn't closed last time. The door was locked. I wondered what they were hiding down below. It was just a door, nothing particularly special. It was a bust, probably to hold jewelry for the actors. She reminded me of someone, but I couldn't quite put my finger on it. The drawers had all been pulled out and emptied. Sanded down, that could be worth a bit of money. It was a script for a vaudeville production. Ooh, my God, that's positively disgusting. It was the hole in the floor made by the safe on its way through. George's trail of destruction was easy to follow. As the door was locked, I realized this was my only way down. Here goes! It was the support strut that had held up the safe. The support strut was broken and useless. These were the old fuses for the electrics. From the state of the fuses, it was a miracle the theatre never burned down. The door of the broken safe hung open, exposing the empty interior. What had happened to the art of safe cracking? There was nothing left in the safe but rust and dust. A rickety old ladder. Just a light breeze would bring that down. The heavy metal doors covered the elevator to the power site. No sound came through the door. I couldn't open the door, not without C4 or the security card. It was the card reader for the elevator door. Without the right card, there was nothing I could do. The door looked well made. The briefcase was full of papers. Somebody had been making a quick getaway. What could be so terrifying it had made them just run away? And who was the figure in the cloak? I rifled through the briefcase, but there were just papers to do with the theater. Nothing pointed to Susarro's dealings in Prague. The vase was exquisite. I knew just the spot for it in my apartment. But did I really want such a reminder of Susarro? I decided against it. I didn't want the thing.
It's no use struggling. That just makes it worse.
Take that!
Not again!
This should keep you out of my way. Good job I had the scarf on me. Now, where was I before I was so rudely interrupted? It was some kind of security report for a private residence. Unfortunately, the report didn't include the address. Prague was certainly mentioned, but the actual location could have been anywhere. Tucked into the last pages was a photograph of a large castle. There was a dragon symbol on the back. There couldn't be too many castles like this in Prague. I had found enough to track down Susarro. Is this the place?
Even spookier than the photo.
Sends a shiver up my spine.
Sure that's not your vampire-slaying genes kicking in?
Sorry, George. You're out of luck.
I hope Bruno's still in there. Now I'm really pissed.
Look on the bright side. We don't have to worry about car chases anymore.
Nico looked as determined as ever. These were serious gates. They were also very locked. I tried to look through, but the gap between the gates was non-existent. I could hear a dog on the other side. Sounds like security's pretty tight.
I know. You distract the dog, and I'll take out the guard.
Oh, very funny. We're gonna have to be careful here, or we're dead. They were locked, all right.
George, anyone who buys gates like these keeps them locked, okay?
Hey, I don't see you trying to get us inside. Stuck on the top of the pillars was a pair of stone statues. Nice dragons.
We're not on the sculpture tour, George.
Just getting to grips with local culture. I knew we should have taken that free upgrade. What do you think's wrong with it?
At a guess? Valves, gasket, cam belt, bearings, clutch, drive shaft, springs.
So nothing too serious then.
Be easier to build a new one from scratch.
The car had died, and there was nothing I could do to bring it back to life. Nico?
Yes?
Any ideas on how to get inside?
If you were clever, you'd have brought plans of the place.
Oh, I would I?
Of course, I realize that's not your style.
Obviously not yours either.
No, I prefer the challenge of winging it.
My feelings exactly. Besides, there's usually a solution at hand. This castle looks really old.
Medieval, George.
Yeah, that too.
I'm worried they might have already killed Bruno.
Well, let's hope he didn't tell him too much.
You're all heart, George.
Shame we can't fix it.
Let's face it, George. It wasn't exactly getaway material.
By the way, have you and Labano...
Have we what?
Have you been doing that... stuff?
What stuff?
Boy-girl stuff?
Oh, that stuff.
Yeah, that stuff.
Boy-girl stuff.
That's what I said.
Listen, George. Andre is a good friend.
Yeah? So it's just a coincidence he's around again?
He's an expert in ancient manuscripts. Who else was I going to call?
Oh, what's wrong with the very old, very ugly experts you see all over the place? The ironwork was solid. Look up there, on the gate.
Some kind of sensor.
Maybe it opens the gates remotely. Looks like it's a car park.
Uh-oh. George, over there, in the light.
A couple of heavies with guns. Suddenly, patent law had its attractions. The sensor was out of reach. There was a small button to press. I was looking forward to meeting the butler. This guy was no butler.
What do you want?
Hi. Nice evening.
Clear off.
I was hoping you could help me. My car.
Tough.
But
This is private property. Get lost.
well, his interpersonal skill set needs a little work.
George, did you seriously expect him to open the gate for you?
Well, I certainly expected better manners. Nico?
Yes?
Hey, Nico, will you press this button?
What do you have in mind, George?
See if you can get the guard to open the gate.
What do you want?
Oh.
Bonjour, chérie. I have a tiny problem with my car. Could you help me with it?
Oh, I could help you with it, all right.
You are so kind.
You're French, aren't you?
God, that's incredible. How did you know?
Oh, I've been around.
Oh, I bet you have.
So, what brings a pretty little thing like you up here on her own?
I'm on holiday.
Don't get too many tourists here.
I'm lost.
Well, consider yourself found, baby. Where's Turnip Head?
He left me here. Said he was going to get help.
So, what's the problem?
The car I hired seems to have blown up.
It's a trabi. It's meant to.
Couldn't you at least have a look at it?
I'm on duty.
Please. I'd be ever so grateful.
How grateful?
Very grateful.
That's not grateful enough. If you leave it to cool down, it should start up again. Hey, you! Where are you going? Clear off!
Nico?
Yes?
Can you try to distract him again?
Look! I've already told you I can't help you!
Oh, but it's so lonely out here. Just talk to me for a little while.
Alright, but only for a minute or two.
What's your name, chérie?
Boris, what's yours?
Helene.
Oh, that's a pretty name.
So's Boris.
Do you think so?
Oh, yes. Very sexy.
Really?
Boris. Boris. Je t'adore, Boris. Oh. I was hoping that George had the sense to take advantage of my performance. You must be very important guarding a place like this.
Yeah, well, big castle needs a big guy to guard it.
Oh, and you are a big guy, Boris.
Of course, I don't ask what goes on inside.
Just a job, hmm?
That's right. Best not to know. Look, I gotta go and check in.
Okay. Bye-bye, big boy. Come back and see me.
Nico?
Yes?
Can you try to distract him again?
Look, Hélène, I can't keep coming out to talk to you.
Just talk a little longer, please, Boris.
Okay.
Do you live in Prague?
When I'm not on duty.
Oh, let's go there. Together. You and I. We could see the sights, have dinner, go dancing, walk hand in hand in the shimmering moonlight.
That's unlikely to happen.
What? Why not?
Gets quite cloudy at night, Prague. What about your boyfriend?
He's useless. I'm going to dump him anyway.
Right. The trouble is, I don't think my wife would be too happy me taking a woman to Prague.
Does she need to know?
Ha! Everybody talks about you French women and your progressive ways.
Funny. Nobody ever talked about our progressive music.
That's because it was crap. Everyone knows that.
Nico?
Yes?
Can you try to distract him again?
This is the last time, George. You'd better get inside this time.
Look, miss, this is...
gotten over the first hurdle, but there were more guards inside, and some of them had dogs too. It was a pretty ordinary trash can. Rooting around in trash cans, one of my little foibles. Sometimes you get lucky and find a real treasure. Hey, string! You never knew when a piece of string was going to come in handy. There was nothing else of use in the trash can. The trash can was nothing special. This trash can was empty. Apart from the garbage, of course. You've seen one trash can, you've seen them all. This trash can looked promising. America's best export, a burger. I put the half-eaten burger in my pocket. Must have been some kind of urban survival instinct at work. Nothing struck me as strange about the trash can. I was pretty sure I'd seen James Bond do something clever with foil once. Trouble was, I couldn't remember what. The windows were securely locked. All I could see inside were half-painted walls and a bunch of decorator's stuff. The doors were heavy and solid-looking. I tried the doors, but they were locked. The doors were heavy and solid-looking. There was no way to open the window. I could see more guards in the foyer. The building looked pretty classy inside.
Quiet! Be quiet!
Hey, what kept you?
Oh, just chatting to Boris about old girlfriends.
See the helicopter?
Yep, Susarro's favorite airline.
George, you need to find a remote. That's how the gates work, I think.
I was glad Nico was with me. Hey, Nico, see any more guards you fancy?
You owe me big time for that one, George. My mouth tastes of cabbage.
So what's new?
Hey, watch it.
Oh, Boris. Boris.
Next time, you kiss Boris, okay?
I still haven't found a way to open these gates.
Come on, George. Kick ass. I heard the guard reporting in. That Petra woman is going to be here any minute. Look, there's some sort of sensor up there.
Okay, I'm on it. The small door looked out of place set into the wall like this. There was nothing behind the door, or my ear problem was back. This wasn't the way in. There was no sign of a lock, but somehow it was fastened tight. The area behind the gate looked like a small store area. Some kind of handle had been wedged into the door at the back. There was no way I was going to get through this door without help. There was a small button to press. The button opened the gate, but it closed again when I let go. The doors were heavy and solid looking. I tried the doors, but they were locked. The car looked pretty sleek. They must have known I was coming, all locked. The car jack was one of the heavy-duty types. The release handle was missing. Looks like somebody had started to repair the Jeep and got bored. It was a remote with a single button on it. It was a small device with a button, maybe just the thing I was looking for. The glove compartment was empty. Must have run out of gloves. There was nothing in the glove compartment. It was a remote with a single button on it. Either it would open the iron gates, or they only had one TV channel over here. Shazam!
Wonderful, George.
Uh-oh, here come the guards.
Let's hide.
Hey, Nico, will you press that button?
What is it with you and buttons, George?
Just keep your finger on it until I get out again, okay? Now, which one's the lucky one? I needed all the luck I could get. It was my lucky piece of coal. There was a metal handle jammed into the doors. I thought I'd take the handle. I was improvising every step of the way. It was the release handle for the car jack. The Jeep descended to the ground. The Jeep was in the middle of being repaired. The Jeep still wouldn't budge. The handbrake was on. I let the handbrake off. Oops, there goes my no claims bonus. drain pipe looked like the way onto the roofs. After you, Nico.
This is definitely not a case of ladies first.
Oh, you want me to test it out?
Well, obviously.
George?
Whoa! Nico! Watch out below! Jeez, only just made it. You were right!
Of course! I'm not stupid!
You're gonna have to find another way in if you can.
Okay, George. The bracket had fallen from the drain pipe when George climbed it. I thought the bracket might come in handy. The small window was slightly open. Through the glass, I could just make out a small storeroom. There was a small gap in the window, but it wouldn't open. It was the bracket from the drain pipe. It was awkward, but I managed to get the bracket into the gap and force the window open. The window was open. Here goes. It was a large barrel, probably for storing ale or wine. They certainly got through a lot of drink here. The faucet was too stiff to move. I couldn't budge it. It was just an old barrel. I wasn't going to drink anything out of there. I turned the faucet, but nothing happened. The barrel was empty. A dented and rusted suit of armor. There was no way I could walk around in that. The armor was old and rusty. I didn't want to touch it in case it made a noise. It was an old door, a wooden one. The door may have been too thick, but I couldn't hear anything.
So, this Petra, they say she's a bit of a one.
Oh yes, takes pleasure in killing. Regards it as an art form.
Nasty.
One poor guy she tortured, took him a week to die.
How'd she do that then?
They called it the doner kebab.
Oh, you don't mean...
That's right. Everything just the same. Apart from the salad, of course.
And the pita bread?
Obviously.
What'd she look like then?
Short blonde hair, that's all I know. I never got closer.
Don't blame you, she might get ideas.
Too right.
Chicken nuggets, for example.
Hot dog and beans.
Ouch!
If they saw me, I was done for. I had to find a way to walk around without attracting attention. But for now, I had to play the quiet mouse.
hear something?
Not sure. Was it from upstairs?
Sounded like it.
You take the side stairs and I'll go up here. If there's anyone there, we'll have them trapped.
I had to hide or get caught.
Did you see anything up the side stairs?
Yet nothing.
Stay alert anyway. This place gives me the creeps.
It was an old wooden door. A large, highly polished dresser. Someone had interesting taste in furniture. The dresser was locked. Even for an antique, the lock was sturdy. It was an ornate hand basin. The fixtures and fittings were very old. The hand basin had hot and cold running water. Cold running water anyway. It was a large luggage case. Petra's name was on the label. She certainly didn't travel light. The case was filled with clothes. Lying on the top was a small hairdryer. A cordless hairdryer lay on top of the clothes in the case. For the woman who likes to live life to the full, Petra certainly had a new take on that idea. I picked up the hairdryer. Apart from a range of tacky clothes, there was nothing left in the case. It was another large luggage case. You can never have too many clothes. The case was empty, apart from a wig. Surprise, surprise. Inside the case was a brown wig. Petra certainly liked to dress up. I picked up the wig. At the very least, it would stop her from using it again to impersonate me. That's interesting. The case looked a lot smaller on the inside. The base sounded hollow. I guess there was a hidden compartment inside. All I had to do was find a way of opening it. I felt around the interior, trying to access the hidden compartment. Aha! Tucked into one corner was a tiny button. Damn! My fingers were too large to press the button. I tried again to press the button with my finger, but it was still no use. The bottom of the case was false. Oh my God! I doubted she used the knives to open letters. Inside was a serious selection of knives and other weapons. Petra was a killer who obviously took pride in her work. There was also something wrapped in a small rag. The weapons were all locked in place. A sharpening stone. A must for every assassin. I picked up the sharpening stone.